A minister passing through his church in the middle of the day decided he'd pause at the altar to see who had come to pray. Just then the back door opened and a man came down the aisle. The minister frowned as he saw the man hadn't shaved in quite a while. His shirt was kind of shabby, his coat, why, was worn and frayed. The man knelt, bowed his head, then rose and walked away. In the days that followed, each noontime came this chap. Each time he kneeled just for a moment, a lunch pail in his lap. While the minister's suspicions grew, with robbery his main fear, decided he'd stop, ask the man, "Just what are you doing here?" The old man said, "I work just down the road. Lunch is just a half an hour. And lunchtime, it's my prayer time for finding strength and power. I stay only a moment, see, 'cause the factory is so far away. As I kneel here and talk to the Lord, this is kind of what I say. I just come again to tell you, Lord, how happy I have been since we found each other's friendship and you took away my sin. I don't know, Lord, how to pray, but I think about you every day. So Jesus, this is Jim checking in." Why, the minister felt kind of foolish, told Jim that it was fine, told the man that he was welcome, come back and pray here anytime. Time to go, Jim smiled, said thanks, hurried to the door. The minister knelt at the altar. He'd never done that before. His cold heart melted, warmed with love, and he met with Jesus there. As the tears flowed in his heart, he repeated old Jim's prayer. I just come to tell you, Lord, how happy I have been since we found each other's friendship and you took away my sin. I don't know much how to pray, Lord, but I think about you every day, Jesus. This is me checking in. Past noon one day, the minister noticed that old Jim hadn't come. As more days passed without Jim, the minister began to worry some. At the factory, he asked about him, learning that he was ill. The hospital staff was worried, but he had given them such a thrill. 1 week with Jim there brought changes to the ward. His smile and joy contagious. Changed people was Jim's reward. The head nurse couldn't understand why Jim was so glad. There were no flowers, calls, or cards come. Not a visitor to be had. The minister stayed by his bed and voiced the nurse's concern. No friends came to show they cared. He had nowhere to turn. Looking surprised, old Jim spoke up, and with a winsome smile, the nurse is wrong. She couldn't know that he's been here all the while. Each day at noon he comes here, dear friend of mine, you see. He sits right down, takes my hand, leans over and says to me, I just come to tell you, Jim, how happy I have been since we found each other's friendship and I took away your sin. Always love to hear you pray, Jim, and I think about you every day. So, Jim, this is Jesus checking in. Always love to hear you pray, Jim. I think about you every day. And so, Jim, this is Jesus checking in. Yes, Jim, this is Jesus checking in.